Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jakub. I'm representing FX7 Solutions Limited. We are a company which is helping small and medium businesses with their technology. We are based in West London, but we are serving customers in central London as well. I would like today to speak about the ransomware, which is the new, maybe not very new, but one of the newest threats to the businesses, unless my clicker will start working. Okay, thank you very much. So first of all, I would like to explain what is ransomware. This is not working. Oh, okay. This is the definition took from Wikipedia. It says that ransomware is a type of the malicious software from the cryptovirology that threatens to publish the victim's data or perpetually block access to unless the ransom is paid. This can be quite disguising. I will explain in a moment how it works. But the definition also says that the ransomware is a type of the malicious software. So I would like to tell you about what are the types of the malicious software first. The oldest really threat is a virus. Virus is a software which is maliciously tries to destroy the data or block access to the data, but it's really relying on the actions of the user. The user needs to start the program, the user needs to browse the websites, and this is where virus is striking. So without the user, the virus is really not doing any harm. Secondly, I don't know what's happening with that, it's a worm. Worm is similar to virus, it's just the difference is that it can spread itself automatically. It can use the networks to spread across the local networks and the internet, and it is commonly overloading servers, overloading the internet connectivity. The next up is adware, which is the less harmful from the bunch because it just displays annoying advertisements. In most cases it doesn't do any damage to the files. Next one of the types is exploit. As the name says, it exploits the vulnerabilities of the software. It can be operating system, it can be a software. So it's used to steal the data by exploring security holes which are in the existing software. Another type of the malicious software, please work, is a spyware. This spyware is invisibly spying on the user activity. It can log keystrokes, it can log everything that the user is doing on the computer, and it sends it to the attacker. So the attacker can use the stolen data to probably clear up the bank account, for example. The rootkit is a type of the malicious software which is very deep bound into the operating system. So the user or even security software like antivirus programs are not even knowing about its existence. So again, it is used to spy on the user activity, send the data that is user entering into the computer, and so on. Next up is Trojan horse. This is a type of the malicious software which disguises itself as a legitimate program. That means that it works and does what user wants it to do as a software, but also in the background it can again steal the data and send it to the attacker. And the last one is the ransomware. This is the main topic of today's presentation. And the ransomware is malicious software which keeps the computer locked and asks the user to pay the ransom to unlock the access to the computer. And ransomware, there are really two types of this. First of all, it just blocks access to the computer by displaying the message you need to pay ransom to get get to your screen and be able to work on the computer. The second one, which is very in the wild at the moment, is the one which is encrypting the files. This is encrypted with a very strong cryptography algorithm, and that means that you cannot decrypt that, sorry, unless you have the private keys. I don't want to go very much into the technical details how this encryption works, but generally speaking, only the attackers can provide you with the way to get your files back. Okay, so why does it matter to your business? First of all, of course, you can be cut off your data. Oh, come on, what's happening with that? Can cut off your data, which means that you can lose on your business. Yeah, your business operations can be held off, and you cannot serve your customers, you cannot process orders, and you can lose your records. So probably HMRC will be not very happy about that if they will want to check you. And of course, you can lose lots of money, and if you choose to pay the ransom, this can cost you even more. So how ransomware spreads. The most common way is email attachments, of course, and these days we are receiving lots of spam which is containing attachments which can be harmful. These are executable files which are containing this ransomware, and they are just started from the attachment that they will strike the attack. However, most of the anti-spam filters these days are able to block this kind of attack or this kind of vector of spreading of ransomware. So non-malicious attachments. This works in a way that, for example, there is a PDF file sent which contains a link or the ransomware itself is embedded in the document. So when user opens the document, this can cause the attack, or also it can be in a way that the user clicks on the link which is there and downloads the harmful program. Website links, this is posted to the forums, discussion forums, and hacked websites. Of course, if you have a website and it is hacked, it can be used to spread more ransomware. Links to documents containing links. This is similar to non-malicious attachments, but the difference here is that the documents itself, they are not sent through the email as an attachment. They are hosted by the cloud services like Dropbox or Google Drive, for example. Social media websites, of course, you probably heard or seen for yourself that there are accounts which are sending some dodgy links in your social media, and this can be also used to spread ransomware or malicious software, because people are clicking without even thinking what they are doing. And the last, removable media. USB sticks, for example, can be sent to the company office, disguising itself as a, I don't know, sales presentation, something like that, and when the stick is put into the computer, that's it. This can be also a situation when the person comes to your office and asks to print one page of their document because they need to send it by post or whatever, and you cannot connect, for example, this visit. When the receptionist, for example, puts the USB stick into the computer, the ransomware can be installed, but it doesn't need to attack straight away. It can attack after a week or so, and then you cannot connect these two events together, but this is a way of spreading that. So what is the prevention? I divided this into two sections. Section 1 is about the technical measures. Of course, you can put anti-spam filters, and this is a good idea probably to have a anti-spam filter on your email system, because this will strip off the harmful attachments from the emails, but also can do a bit more than, for example, Outlook built-in anti-spam filter. Secondly, antivirus and security systems on your routers and servers. The routers and servers are the entry point to your network. That means that you can stop the ransomware or malicious software at the entry point, so your users even don't see that. But if it will pass through, the endpoint protection strikes through, which is antivirus software installed on every machine. That means that even if the attachment goes through the anti-spam filters, user cannot start it up and cause the infection. The thing which is very commonly neglected is appropriate permissions in the network. If you have a server in your office which holds your data, then in many cases I saw that everyone has access to everything, including the backup locations where your server is backing up. And if the ransomware infection strikes through, the backup is also encrypted. So doing a backup is very important. I will tell about that in a moment a bit more, but make sure that only access to the backup is only from the server. And non-technical measures. Most of the ransomware attacks are done by the users. It's not self-executing thing. It's something that is started by a member of staff, and staff awareness trainings is very important point in here. I think that this is something that should be really considered by every business owner, and this is including putting the written procedures into the handbook of your company to get the procedures for, first of all, client-facing staff, because these are more prone to get infected, and also for the rest of staff, how to handle electronic mail and other means of sending files. And repeating that, this is very important. So it's not only to tell to the staff once, just repeat the sessions once a half a year, for example. It doesn't need to be half-day training, it's just half an hour session where someone knowledgeable can put some light into how to handle the electronic mail. Okay, now I'd like to show you a nice thing, I think. This is how the ransomware attack looks like. So I have a screen here. This is done in this way because this computer is not connected to anything. Because if I would start the ransomware in this network, probably Natos will not like me too much. So in here we have an icon which is named disk part. Disk part is a bit of the software used to manage the hard drives and partitions in Windows. And it is built in Windows, so nothing suspicious about that. But if I'll start it, really it can look like nothing happens here. Apart, some files are showing up on the screen. I've got some files in the documents and folders here, which are the documents which are Word documents, Excel, PowerPoints, and so on. As you see, there are 2 copies of each, because currently what's happening, the ransomware is encrypting these files. This one with WNCry is a WannaCry ransomware, and in a couple of moments you will see that these files will be deleted and only encrypted copies will show up, and we'll have a nice message telling us that we need to pay a ransom. We need to give it a few moments because of course the time that takes to the attack to be invoked depends really on that how many files we have on the computer. If we have lots of files, lots of documents, photos, and so on, then we will it will take a longer time. But there are situations when the attacks are not even seen for weeks or months, if these are, for example, file archives, which are not used very often. Okay, so as you see, the original files have been deleted here, and we should have a nice message in a moment, which will tell us that we need to pay a ransom.
Are we going to have to pay this afternoon?
Yes. I will be telling about should you like to pay the ransom or not. This is up to you, but I'll tell you if it is a good idea or not. Okay, so as you see, the desktop is not very visible on the screen there, but it says that, oops, your important files have been encrypted. We should have another window as well. I'm not sure why it's not showing up here yet. But this kind of, this is what I wanted to show you. This is the message which requires payment in Bitcoin. If you know how to pay in Bitcoin through the Tor network, you can try to do so. This one at the moment requires us to pay probably $300. Yes. But you can see the counter on the left-hand side. If it goes to 0, then the ransomware will increase. To be honest, this is something that can be removed quite easily because, but of course you cannot decrypt the files. So backup is where we are looking here. But your system is running. So I also would like to show you. I have a nice invoice here. Let me try to close this. This is just invoice PDF file. Let me just start it. And this is how the older ransomware looks like. It doesn't look like yet, but in a couple of moments you will see what it can do. Don't worry about this message because it will be not applicable anymore in a moment. It will take a moment to find out itself that it's working. And even if I will close this first window, it is coming back every now and then because it just prompts user to do the ransom. Okay, it's back again, but this is not what I want to show you yet. Oh, okay. So if we get the screen right, this is probably something that you know as a blue screen. Sorry, can we have the, yeah, thank you. So the blue screen, this is happening. The computer just hangs up. It says a message which really doesn't mean anything to me even. Some kind of error. But what do you do in such situations? You probably switch off the computer, which I'm doing right now, and switch it back on. So what's happening then? Okay, this is something which looks like a check disk, which is the tool to repair hard drives after the non-graceful startup close down of the system. What it's doing now, really, it's encrypting your hard drive. It's not checking your hard drive; it's just encrypting your hard drive right now. So. For the user who doesn't know what's happening, they may think, okay, my computer needs to be repaired, the Windows will start up in a moment, no problem, yeah? It will take a moment, there are 2 passes of that, which means that every bit of the hard drive at the moment is encrypted. As you see, it takes about 2 minutes. This is not very large hard drive in this computer, but the larger it can take a moment longer. But people are not really reading what's on the screen. It says that it's repairing the hard drive, and the Windows should start up in a moment properly. You cannot see it properly. In the top left corner it says operating system not found, which means there is something wrong with the operating system. So you press the button and you have this. So this is a very nice animation, but here is the full information how you can decrypt your operating system really. That means that this Windows computer is dead now. You cannot get anything back out of it because the whole hard drive has been encrypted including operating system. Can I get back to the presentation, please? Okay, so what to do if ransomware strikes? First of all, most important, disconnect the computer from the network. I did this exercise without connecting anything to the network. This is because the ransomware also encrypts the files on the network drive. So if you have a server network attached storage NAS drive, then this also might be encrypted if the infected computer has an access to that. Shut down the computer, you should pull the plug probably to prevent this few minutes process of encrypting to happen really. And you may try to recover the files. If you disconnect power from the computer early on, you may try to put the hard drive into another computer and copy the data, but be careful because you can infect another computer. Okay, now the question was, do we need to pay this afternoon this $300? Okay, so if you choose to pay, you will be really encouraging the cyber criminals to develop their software. This is like a business. You work in the business. If you earn money, you do the business still. You don't stop. Yeah. So this is what they are doing as well. You have no guarantee that you will receive encryption keys. Come on, these guys tricked out you once already. Would you trust them that they will do the service of giving you the encrypted keys even if you pay them? And there are, of course, the decryption systems provided by the security software vendors, antivirus software manufacturers, but this is way behind what's happening in the ransomware world. I mean, new ransomware strikes in every day, and the decryption software is not coping with the newest ones. And after even the decryption works, you never know if it will not sit still in your network and strike in month's time, for example, asking for even more money. So what's the solution? First of all, do the backup. Do the backup of all your systems, servers, workstations, if you have any important data on the workstations. And again, I'm stressing that these backups should be not available to everyone. The locations needs to be only accessible by the servers to do the backup, but this needs to be not accessible for the computers. Secondly, another backup. Offsite backup will not only prevent you to lose business if there is a disaster like fire or flood or break-in into your offices, but it will also help you out because the ransomware software cannot access the remote locations if you don't allow it, of course. But most of the backup systems are using non-standard protocols, so the ransomware cannot exploit that. And third backup, periodic offline backup. This means that you are connecting external hard drive, for example, once a month to your server, make a copy of everything and disconnect it, store it in a safe place, and if something really bad happens, a safe place is outside your office as well, because if your office is damaged, then of course the offline backup can be also damaged. This leads to disaster recovery strategy, which should be a written set of procedures what to do before the ransomware attack strikes, during the ransomware attack happening, and afterwards. This should be written procedures, so don't panic, you just have a list what to do point by point. But print it and don't store it in your office, because if it burns, the strategy will be there, not there. Okay, that's it from me. My name is Jakub. The company is FX7 Solutions. We are always on the go, and we are looking for the customers who are not happy with their IT support provider. Thank you very much.